What's up? This is Alert Wolf here to bring you another review. This time it is a movie review. Fast and Furious 6. Furious 6. This is what I'm talking about right here. And we're gonna get going on my review of this movie now. The plot has a lot of twists and turns in it. You know what? Lately, the last few movie reviews I've been doing, one if you were my standard view, and the other half is for the fans. And I don't know if I wanna. I'm gonna do that again. So okay, the first half of my review, straight up review for a moviegoer. Second half of the review will be a review for people who watch the movie, and this is for the fans of the movie. Now, at this point, 6 movies in, if you're gonna go see it, you're a fan. But there you go. So when I let you know the spoilers will begin, those spoilers will begin. So let me just jump right into it. So the story starts off basically, it's just a fine. There's a big heist. Things got stolen real fast in Russia. We get a new chick as The Rock's partner, and he goes. Sometimes you need to have wolves to catch wolves. So he goes to Dom to try to get them to help. Now, meanwhile, right before we get to Dom, it is. It's the birth of the kid. The two we get them two racing, right? Paul Walker and Vin Diesel are racing. And they get back, and, Paul Walker's chick is having the kid, and they're like, this is the end of the life, and they're very happy and rich and famous. Well, not famous, but you know what I'm saying, rich, and they're good. They're having a grand old time, and that's when The Rock comes in. The Rock comes in about a day later and visits Vin Diesel, and he's like, listen, you're gonna want to work for me, blah. And he left it, and he walked away. He looks inside, obviously it's Letty, and she's alive, right? And the Brazilian chick, who's awesome, is like, listen, if it was my husband, I'd go. I don't hold you against you, go do what you gotta do. Now, so they put together a team. Paul Walker decides to come with them, obviously, even though he said Vin Diesel was wanted, and there you go. The only one who stays behind is obviously Paul Walker's wife and Diesel's sister in the movie, because they get, because she has a baby to take care of, as well as the Brazilian chick who thinks this is his journey. So those two chicks stay behind. They reassemble the team, baby. Reassemble the team, minus my Spanish brothers, who, for whatever reason, couldn't be reached for this fixture. I don't know why they weren't in the film, but I mean, I kind of loved them in the movie because they were the comic relief. They were the comic relief. Not that everybody in the movie isn't funny, because they are, but they were just funny. You know what I mean? All right, so and I think their story is like, yeah, they went to some sort of casino and they haven't been seen since. Alright, so we get everybody back, other than those guys back, and right away they find out what it's for, and as a favor, well, because the character of Han knows who Letty is, right? Paul Walker's character knows, Vin Diesel's character knows. I mean, but everybody else, and Han's girl knows, but everybody else really doesn't. But they're down to help out, and they get cards, and they're working with the new villain of the movie, and he is all about precision and all this crap, and he has his own team, and they're trying to create like a tech bomb that could be worth billions. I don't know, it's loosely explained. The last component they need, The Rock and them are going to protect, and it's in England. There's this whole thing with Interpol, gets taken out, and there's this big battle, And these guys are getting away in these like custom built Formula One racers that have like a crazy body in them to make, like, they're like little wedges to make cars flip, and it's awesome. And we get this chase scene finally. You know, they end up using these guns that give them computer override control, because they fire these tags on the cars that allow them to override. I don't know if this crap is real, but movie magic here. Override the car controls, thus preventing, you know, turning off the cars or hitting the brakes on the cars. So this becomes an important point later on, where they choose cars that are, you know, older muscle cars that don't have computers in them. But so the chase is on, and that whole chase sequence brings us to a point where finally it's Vin Diesel chases down the Letty's character, and she pulls a gun and shoots him. Now I know what you're gonna say, guys, Albert, but Alert Wolf, but this is a spoiler, and you said no spoilers until the end. No, it's not, because this scene where she just shoots him and wings him in the shoulder is in the commercials, and it's been in like all the trailers. So I do not think I'm giving anything away. Now she had like a puzzled look in her face, but that's that. And from then on in the movie, it's craziness after craziness of them trying to bring her back and stop the bad dude. Alright, so any more into this and I'll give away too much of the story, and remember that's the second half of the review. So the action is fast-paced, amazing, and defies logic. Let's just say more than one character pulls a Superman in this movie. And even then, some of the deaths in this movie, and I'm not going to tell you who lives, who dies, whatever, that'll be for later on, was kind of hilarious too, man. Sometimes people they were just like, nah, no, you know, they did, right? They just dead. We're not going to check on them. Nah, they dead. And some of the deaths in this movie were slightly like, really? Like, they could have lived. Like, maybe you should check to see if they're alright. I don't know. But even with all that, this movie, I would say, he's about a 4 on the Richter scale for an average moviegoer who likes this type of movie. You know I always give you 2 different types of scores, and this is what I say for this. Because out of this one, you know, you go to a Faster Than Furious movie, you know what you're gonna get. You didn't get everybody from the last picture, but you got most of them. You got some new villains, so many twists and turns in it. Now, I managed to predict every twist and turn as I was watching the movie, but that's not to say everybody will, or that you should even try to do that. But even if I was able to predict them, or if you were able to predict them, that doesn't mean they weren't there. You know what I mean? And it didn't happen anyway. So for that reason alone, you know, and that's why I kept this at a 4. I think it was the action was good. A couple of stunts were ridiculous and unbelievable, but on a whole, and the story was pretty good. I mean, this is seeing them in a different situation than you normally see them in. You know, now they're all on the good guy side completely, as opposed to all of them being on the criminal side. So it's interesting stuff. You get some surprise visits from people from 2 surprise visits from people from previous pictures. So there's a lot of fun in this movie. Now, guys, warning, spoiler alert. Danger. I am about to get into reviewing this movie as a fan. I will give away stuff in this film. If you have not watched this movie, please stop now and continue later on once you have. and click it up, rate it, subscribe to it. You know what I'm saying? Click it up if you like it, rate it, subscribe, all that stuff right now if you haven't seen the movie. All right. For those of you who have seen this movie, it is time to get into the true review for the fans. Now, fans of Fast and the Furious are going to love and hate this movie. And what I mean is, or they're going to love it, but there's going to be, it's going to take us to where we've been avoiding this entire time. That's right. This movie finally catches up to the third movie, Tokyo Drift. I mean, every movie, it's taken 3 pictures to catch back up to 3. And it's the running joke in the movie, like, dude, like, how many pictures can there possibly be before part 3? And now we know there is 3. And unfortunately, what that means is obviously Han had to go. But his death will set up the next, you knew he had to go, but they finally caught up to Tokyo. Now, it's not a secret that Han dies. We all know he dies. How he dies and who kills him is the twist at the end of this picture after the first second of credits. I'm not going to give that away, but it's exciting. It makes me super excited for the next 7th installment. That's saying I've been waiting so long for them to do this. Now, saying Levy had amnesia, it was an alright character device. I'm fine with it. I'm not crazy, and we knew. Well, I knew once Han got serious about his chick that his chick had to go. Kind of knew that too. Now let me talk about her doc. I was talking about ridiculous deaths. She died, right? The chick. How did she die? It's so retarded. They're literally a few feet off the ground. Remember, the bottom bumpers and the bottom wheels were still kind of skating and still touching the ground. And she falls off the car, and they make it seem like she's super high in the air, but she's not. The most she is like, let's say the most is 5 feet. And I don't even think that's right. I think it's like 2 feet. Not only did she have the altered trajectory and shoot, but the freaking wind caught her and she curved up. The wind caught her skinny ass. And then they were like, oh, she dead. She fell from a few feet off the ground. Granted, they were speeding and it was onto concrete, but these people fall and jump off of cars all the time. No, but she just dead. She dead. No, she didn't make it. Let's not check on her vitals or send an ambulance or anything. She fell from a few feet on a runway. And speaking of the runway, my gosh, how long was that runway? Let's be realistic. Even if they were doing 35 miles an hour, most runways, quarter mile maybe. I don't even think it's a mile. But so let's just say that runway was huge. It made no sense how long that runway could possibly last for. It was just one of those things like, oh yeah, runway. But then that plan in itself was slightly stupid. And here's what I'm saying too. The villain's big plan from leaving a NATO army base was to board a plane that landed on the base? Now, a cargo plane that they landed? The commander wasn't too happy about them leaving either. That's a bad call because the commander could just very easily shoot it down. It's a fucking cargo plane in the middle of a military base. If you shoot it down, game over. So that was a stupid idea. Way of leaving. They had tanks and shit and guns. They could have just blown the motherfucker up. But whatever. Whatever. And come on, man. There was some, like, The Rock pulled a Batman, let's say, and jumped on the car at the beginning of the movie. In that first big chase, he jumped on the car and He was like, yeah, there's only one way, I'm gonna just jump. Which, the jump to the car, I might add, much further down than the fall off the plane, if we're establishing physics here. But nah, he was good, you know, moving at the same speed and whatnot. But and then Dom with his Superman move to save Levy at one point in the movie too. Ridiculous. Now, even with these ridiculous, miraculous acts of bullshit, I absolutely love this film. And it's a shame that we lost the Han branch of this movie franchise, including his chick. But it's about time we're in Tokyo. You know, it's been so long since they've made it to Tokyo. And it's just about time. It's just about time. So that being said, I'm super excited for the next film. It's obviously going to happen partially in Tokyo, so maybe we'll start from when Tokyo Drift ended, which is Vin Diesel racing the main character of that movie, who happens to be the new DK or Drift King of Tokyo, and maybe he recruits him. Maybe they're going to be in the next film. That'll be great. Really tie the franchises together, and finally, you know, get to Tokyo. So. But I don't know, considering about the serious shit they're in. And by the way, the villain identity is my opinion that the villain for the next film is obviously the villain for this film's brother. Because when he was referring to his brother, the way he talked about him is the way an older he talked about him giving him advice and about every man, blah, blah, blah. That sounds the way an older brother talks to a younger brother. So that's why I'm thinking this is his older brother, and we have like a Die Hard with a vengeance going on in this picture. You know, and then some of the cameos, or not cameos, some of the characters they brought back, like Braga, and to the Paul Walker's former FBI partner that he didn't like. I thought that was all good, and I really liked it. So. That being said, as a fan, I like this movie. Well, I liked it a little bit less than the last movie. The last movie is more fun. This is more serious. The last movie was fast. This is furious. You know what I'm saying? So, I give it a 4.5, maybe a 5, 4.5. I think, you know what? For one of these pictures, I'll give it a 5. I'll give it a 5. So that means the total rating, if you're a fan of the franchise or not, you know, the total rating for this movie is a 4.5. That is the combined rating, as if you're a new goer or if you're a goer who's going a lot. So there you go. It's a 4.5. So that's enough out of me. So click it up if you like it, comment if you must, and please subscribe if you can. And this is your buddy Alert Wolf signing out.